Baba Booey.
Hello again, my LEGO friends, and by that I mean people who like LEGO, not actual people made of LEGO. Join me please, as we unbox this haul of LEGO Clone Troopers and Clone Trooper parts. Yes sir, we have quite the mess here. So near the end of last year, I made a few orders from the various websites that I mentioned in my videos prior, all while I was making my LEGO Clone Army video. So then I had a thought. Why not just save all these packages and orders and build them up for an epic unboxing video? Or is it a haul video? I guess it's both, because I have a lot of stuff here. We have parcels and packages from AliExpress, Jay's Little Things, American Brick Store, Clone Army Customs, the Cape Cantina, Grandpa's Clone Customs, and their distributor, Camino Bricks, which came in handy when the GCC site was down. I also have more of my old LEGO clones from back in the day that I found recently. Obviously, this wasn't something mailed to me, but they will be modified with the stuff that I got here, as you will see. And lastly, of course, we have here the new LEGO 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. Because as much as I love me these cheap pieces of Chinese plastic, you gotta get the real stuff to keep it all going. This is also to prove that I am not a cheap bastard just getting AliExpress stuff all the time. Just most of the time.
You cheap bastard.
And the fun part here is that these aren't all just Clone Trooper figures. These are also a bunch of parts and pieces that I needed to make custom clones and certain characters. And the magical bit is, I actually kind of forgot what I ordered because it's been so long since I received them. So, it'll be a surprise for everyone. Alright, it's time for me to shut up and start opening these bad boys up so that the title of this video isn't false advertising. Shit. Okay. I think I went too far in a few places.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Ooh, that was a lot to unpack there, wasn't it? Okay, so clearly this is a mess. A Charlie Foxtrot, if you will. But worry not. I'm going to organize this in a way that makes sense, and then I'm going to get this show on the road. How does that sound, my friends? My viewers, my killers, my gangsters, So this is what I did. First pile here is just AliExpress stuff that is all set as is. No custom anything needed. Both named characters and army building. In this pile are the things that I got in bulk, mostly from Jay's and American Bricks. But this last pile is where the magic happens. These are all my projects, my customs, my mixing and matching. The reason why I got all those helmets and cloth pieces separate. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. But first, I'm going to go over/review the actual LEGO set and all this. You know, the real thing, why we're all here in the first place. Yeah, this takes precedence. So this set, LEGO 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack, is very well sought out for. Everyone and their mother wants this thing, just like with the 500 first set from before. I was lucky to have found it at the LEGO store in Disney, in which there were a few left, so that's good. I didn't rob a child of the opportunity to get a toy meant for him or her. This set is, whether intentional or not, a throwback to the 2007 days, when LEGO made their first battle packs, the Clone Trooper one and the Battle Droid one. The latter was actually my first LEGO Star Wars thing ever. Or was it the TIE Fighter? Usually, when it comes to me buying LEGO, especially in recent years, I mainly only get sets based on the minifigures, as you might be able to tell. However, what I like about this set is that the builds here are very much flexible. What I mean is, these pieces, the big-ass droid, the turret, the bikes, they can be put literally anywhere in your collection, and you could have multiple of this set and it would make sense. There was a battle pack, I remember, that came out with 2 clones, Ki-Adi-Mundi and Barriss Offee, and that one sucked. 1, the build wasn't anything in universe, so it just looks wrong. And 2, if you buy multiple of this set, what are you going to do with 5 Ki-Adi-Mundis? That's what makes this a good battle pack. It's convenient to get multiples of, even if it is a bit overpriced. Anyway, as cool as the Octupara droid and the speeder bike and this little turret implement thing are, you don't care about those. You care about the minifigures. More specifically, the clones here. Not so much the droids. I mean, holy crap, this is worse than that time I tried to make a LEGO Droid Army video. Alrighty, so here is my army of B1 battle droids, and wait a second, these are all just the same figure over and over again. Son of a Anyway, Lois, these clone troopers are freaking sweet, Lois. But seriously, I know people have made it known their distaste for the weird double hole thing on the sides of the helmet, but I don't care. It does look off, admittedly, but I'm just so biased over this new helmet design, especially these good old dark cheeks going on here. These are the first regular white clones in the style, I believe, and it's nice to not have to spend a dub on the stupid red gunship to get the shock trooper. Honestly, the only difference between this and the original battle pack is that there's no 327 star core guy here, which does kind of blow, but it does make it easier than before to army build these white guys. That sounded a lot better in my head. Alright, there, we did it. We covered an actual Lego thing for once.
Good, great, grand, wonderful!
Let's ruin it by going over to our AliExpress shit. So here are the things that I got that don't need any modification, both clones to inflate the army and individual named characters. Starting with this regular Phase 1 clone, I don't remember if I got him for spare parts or just a pauldron piece, which is good for folding down the cloth pauldrons, a trick that I learned from Mayday Figs. But goddamn, look at this helmet print. I've never seen it this fine before, outside of the real deal. Might need to get a bulk of these guys, I think. Next here, I got me a couple more of the 187th and Doom's unit clones. As I said in my army video, that these minifigures, just as they come, were pretty much perfect, and my ranks within those groups were thin, so I needed to beef them up a bit. I should also mention how many of these figures come with this armor piece that adds some dimension and detail to the torso. I typically don't have them on my figures for two reasons. 1. Consistency, because not all minifigs have them, especially the actual Lego ones. And 2, the backsides don't have any real printing, so it just doesn't feel right to have them on. But I appreciate having the option all the same. And now for something new, these Galactic Marine figures. This is the latest variation of the Galactic Marines, and they feel, for lack of a better word, better made. I like how the helmets, while being shorter than the older ones, allow for more movement with the head. Their backpacks are a nice touch too, but what's even better is that these clones come with both a carbine and a rifle. I cannot state enough how helpful this is for army building. You aren't always guaranteed the right gun for your clone trooper, or sometimes a gun at all, as you will see in this video, so having a surplus of weapons is always appreciated, especially for Legos. Next up are the new ARF troopers. These are slick, and it's not often we get a realistic rendition of this type of helmet, since it came from the Clone Wars show. It must be said that I gave these boys the spare carbines from the Marines earlier, as these ARFs only came with miniguns. As weird as that might be, there is precedent for that. The ARF Trooper action figure did come with a minigun, so that's something. I ended up giving the miniguns to my two Doom guys, like how it was in the show. This gun is actually a good piece. I really gotta give it to some of my heavy troopers. In fact, I really need to have a Rishi-based squad. But never mind all that. Who is next? Yes, the Stealth ARF Trooper from the Clone Wars movie. I always dig the camo look on these clone troopers. They always look slick. I actually got two of these, but apparently the lieutenant actually had a slightly different helmet design. More on that later, because we need to talk about some named guys. Up first is Plo Koon from American Bricks. This figure is cool because you actually get two looks for this guy. You have his Jedi Council appearance with his hood and cape and exposed hands, and then you have his general outfit with his gloved hands and no hood nor cape. The headpiece is very much like how it was in that one Lego set from 2008, but this time it's a solid hard piece. I wonder why they made his head all rubbery in that Lego gunship. Choking hazard? Molding issues? Let me know in the comments if you know. Also from American Bricks is Master/General Jaro Tapal. I figure since I have his yellow clone troopers, I might as well have him too, right? Nice cool armor piece. His lightsaber. So it came with two shorter blades, and I'm not sure why. Maybe in the game his blades were shorter, but I'm not so sure. So I gave him Plo Koon's spare blades, because for some reason that figure came with 3. Who knows? And there was supposed to be another stud thing on the other side of the lightsaber hilt, but either it didn't come with my figure, or, more likely, I lost it. And like I said in my army video, I needed an Omega to finish my Bad Batch. Well, now I do. I got me an Omega, and she came strapped, ready to blast a Kaminoan. Speaking of the Bad Batch, we gotta have an Imperial Crosshair. I think I like Crosshair's armor the most out of the entire Bad Batch, except maybe the Concept Echo armor. But his helmet has a cold design, which is represented well here. Even his face print has that eye tattoo thing. It's very good accuracy. His backpack is cool too. You know, I don't think LEGO made the backpack for that one set. I think this was an original build, and I love it. I love that it's brick built. It's quite creative, and you can put his rifle inside of it. Speaking of which, I sort of switched his gap with something that came with the next figure, and that guy is Chatter, the rookie comms trooper. Never heard of him? Well, that's because he was a concept character for the Season 2 episode Landing at Point Rain. Yeah, these faux LEGO companies won't make proper DC superheroes, or X-Men, or proper Geonosis clones, but these obscure-ass characters that didn't even make the final cut, yeah, those get made. He actually came with 2 rifles and a battle droid, all of which aren't here because they don't fit, especially the blasters. One was the sniper that I gave to Crosshair, and the other some bounty hunter rifle. Yeah, some of these figures come with droids, by the way. Sometimes you get a battle droid. Other times you get a weird-ass astromech droid that's too small to have articulation. This one that you see here came with Commander Stone. I mean, look at it. It's all janked and small. But this guy, Chatter, I'm not sure how I feel about this helmet face. The visor looks too thick, but at least the printing is aligned on the helmet properly. Now I'm 50-50 on him wearing the armor. With it, he's able to wear the backpack. But damn, that backpack is huge. I might need to get him a new helmet and pack. Special treatment for this guy who never even made it on the show. Speaking of obscure, this next character was only in the Clone Wars Republic Heroes game. His name is, and I shit you not, Sergeant Boomer.
Okay, Boomer!
This is cool. A good addition to the Phase 1 501st bunch. I guess Chatter was too. If you ever see what Boomer's face looks like, actually, the hell with it, I'll just put it here. Look at this guy's face. Motherfucker looks like Rico from the Penguins of Madagascar. Jokes aside, this is a sick design. I don't know. ARF Troopers and Scout Troopers have a cool face. It's the visor shroud and the mask thing in front of the mouthpiece. Makes them look hard.
Boomer will live.
A real hard clone is, of course, Captain Keeley, a true hero. May he rip in peace. It's cool that they made this guy in a realistic style. It's too bad there's no Master Amagundai or any other Outer Rim Regiment clones, but this is still pretty cool. They even gave this guy his beard under the helmet. What a Chad. And now we have Commander Stone, and yeah, that helmet is kind of fucked, isn't it? So this wave of figures by TV were notorious for having fucked up looking helmets. I don't know if the printing machine was on the fritz for this production or what, but this is not the worst from that wave. But it's not the best either, luckily, as we will later see with Ganch. This won't be the last time we see Commander Stone today, however. Last here from this pile is this regular 41st Elite Scout Trooper. Or is it? So this guy kind of looks darker than the average Scout clone from Kashyyyk. So I will make this guy my Commander Faye from the Republic comics. He was the clone who was kind of a psycho that followed Quinlan Voss. This guy had like 3 armors. His Extreme Climate one, his regular one, which looks a lot like a 327th getup, and this one. I truthfully have no idea where to put this guy. He wasn't technically in the 41st, nor the 327th. Wikipedia says he was in the 7th Legion, but I don't got any of those. So what should I do with my Commander Faye? Maybe I'll keep him with the 41st. I don't know, but I do know that it's time to go over to my bulk pile of stuff. Starting with these 8 Phase 2 Wolfpack guys from Jay's Little Things. In my army video, I had 2 regular guys, so I thought to beef up those numbers and make it a nice, clean, even 10 clones. 10 is going to be the running theme here, as you'll see. These Jay's figures always come with a rifle and carbine, so that's a win for me. Now let's turn back time and look at these Phase 1 Wolfpack clones from American Bricks. These are cool. You'll see that I really did some damage to my Phase 1 army in this video. These clones came with carbines and antennas, and those are cool to have just in case. And I gave half of these guys some of my spare rifles. Sadly, one of my clones here did come without an arm, which is unfortunate, but it's okay, because I brought this up to American Bricks, and not only did they send me a spare arm piece, very quickly I might add, but they had a whole other clone trooper attached to it. I only mention this to show you guys how much American Bricks cares about their customer service. It's something I appreciate in business. Things will go wrong over time. That's just a fact of life and time and business. It's how you fix those problems and get past it. That's what separates the good from the great. So yeah, y'all better buy from American Bricks because these guys are cool. And to add on another good note, these Wolfpack guys do have the darker faces that LEGO now puts on their clones, which is a really good detail to have. The rest of this pile will be from Jay's Little Things, starting with something I've been highly anticipating, the Phase 1 212th clones. This bundle includes the Phase 1 Cody, Waxer, Boyle, and 10 regular 212th clone troopers. This bundle has each clone come with a carbine, rifle, that armor piece I mentioned before, and even a non-cannon visor. There's just one thing I'm going to bitch about. The faces under the helmets are plain. I mention this because the AliExpress clones, while their helmets are FUBAR, the faces at least have the right scarring or facial hair. Perhaps I'll just get copies of those later on. That being said, look at this Cody. This is a good figure. Great detail, especially that white bit on the visor. Realistic Phase 1 clones always look sick to me, and this is no exception. Waxer and Boyle are on point too, except maybe, just maybe, they could use that black line on the helmet brows. But this won't be the last time that we will see Waxer and Boyle in this video. That being said, boy, what I would do for this type of treatment for the 500 first. That nice orange line on the arms and helmet, nice and simple. And there are even quite a few of these guys in the Clone Wars movie and show, so you can easily get away with having 10 of these and still be lore accurate. Very good clones here, very good indeed. Next up are the new Phase 1 327th clones, led by proper Phase 1 Commander Bly. And I say proper because look at the AliExpress one, like, the hell's going on here? Nah, this guy is a great addition to my Phase 1 guys. By this point, I think my Phase 1 guys have doubled in number. But yeah, this Bly feels like he was taken right out of the Meriden arc in the show. Very clean. And we have 10 327th clones. Nice plain yellow stripes. It's the same deal with the 212th, but with antennas and not macros. I believe we only see this type of clone in a webcomic that is no longer canon, in that there was like only 2 or 3, Galley and Bar, no less. They had jetpacks, and whether intentional or not, they also got action figures. And even though it was only like a few of them, these guys do appear in the new Battlefront 2 game, so it's not technically against the lore to have a lot of these guys. And last of the Jay's Little Things bulk is my little army of Phase 1 Riot Control troopers, all 10 of them, with armor pieces, carbines, shields, and baton, all led by 4 clone officers. Commanders Fox, Stone, told you he'd be back, Thorn, and of course, Lieutenant Thayer. I'll just get my one gripe out of the way, and it's not a gripe at the quality of the figures, which are nice. It's that, what do you do with 10 Riot clones? In the show, you see only 2 of them looking for Satine in that one episode. You have to buy the whole bundle just to get the commanders, which, I admit, was my main attraction to the set. And these clones can't be repurposed into being Coruscant guards or shock troopers. I've checked. The logo on the body is too high, and the legs are just different. And they can't be like Reese or Jack. I originally thought to just get plain torso pieces and red striped arms, but no, the helmets are different. These guys can only be Riot clones. Obviously, I'd love to have some lore-accurate clones to put behind my Fox or Thayer to match them, but these are still good quality figures, I cannot stress that enough. I mean, look at them. They are just ready to beat up some peace protesters and light up some poor bastards with warning shots. I don't mean to be bitching about these figures. Clearly the people like them, because this pack was sold out for a bit. I held off from a lot of this haul until this was back in stock, so when Jay's replenished this minifigure bundle, that's when all hell broke loose. But let's get back to the positives and look at our officers here, starting with Thorn. Yeah, we never see a Phase 1 Thorn in anything, but it is a nice touch. And let's have a look at Stone here. Clearly, obviously, this is the better version than what AliExpress was cooking. Let's have them side by side here. If I want to be a dick, I'd criticize the lack of a black line over the visor, but I would be a broken record at that point. Interestingly, the AliExpress one has a sole holster for his 2 Desert Eagles. Weird choice, but they couldn't even get that right. However, I will say that both figures missed the mark in the color department. Stone was a darker maroon, and this is your regular Shock Trooper red. But moving on from that, we have Lieutenant Thayer. I am now realizing how damn skinny these macros are on the helmet. But that's just a nitpick because this figure is near perfect. I swear, I will figure out a way to kit bash a Jack and Reese for my boy here. Saving the best for last, we have the shining gem of this whole set, Commander Fox. This figure nails the Fox vibe perfectly. It reminds me of his action figure from 2008 and how it nailed the look. That was a Target exclusive, no? I remember I thought Fox was the coolest clone ever, with the red markings and the camo. Then the rest of the show happened. Still, he is a snazzy red clone, and red was my favorite color for the longest time. I can't wait to place this Fox next to my Rex, Cody, Wolf, and Bly as my Phase 1 officers. But that covers not only the Riot clones, but also the army building pile, as I've organized this mess of a video. So now, it is time to see how the magic is made, because next up are the clones that I customized through a variety of means. And while in the process of doing just that, I kept placing my finished guys on this little shelf thing, and when I was done, well, I thought this would make for a cool picture, so here you go. I'm going to explain briefly how I made each figure, and that will require me repeating a lot of the same sentences over and over again. But I wanted to make sure that I got those details in, just in case you guys want to make them too. So, you've been warned. And by the way, all of the spare pieces from all of these figures have been saved in this bag that you see here. It's always good to save your spare parts because you'll never know when you're going to need them next. This first group here are the clones that I had before that got modified with the stuff that I got in the mail. Here are the 4 older clones that I had from before, and I gave them all GATs and Grandpa's Clone Customs helmets, save for the 327th lad. He got the helmet that came with the AliExpress 327th clone, which isn't bad by any means. I think this was when the GCC site was down, so I had to make do. But to make sure that he didn't feel jealous, I got him some Cape Cantina goods. Then, with the rest of these guys, I did some mixing and matching. I had a 212th guy with a bulky helmet, so I got him a GCC one and gave him a tan camo from Clone Army Customs. And bam, now he is the lieutenant from the Routine Valor comic. I also got Wolf's helmet from Clone Army Customs, only I used the body of Comet from my last video. I guess I forgot to get him soft goods. But I'm looking at this figure, and I'm now realizing how dark bluish the body is. Might just need a lighter body later on. Oh well, it works. So for Bakara, Gray, and Styles, I got them all their respective kits from the Cape Cantina. I guess for Bakara you could have just used a regular clone for the body, but that would be boring. Damn it, I got the helmet too soon, because Clone Army Customs made a newer one that doesn't jut out as much at the mouth part. Minor nitpick, has nothing to do with the cloth pieces. All of them are great. I like how Gray's shoulder piece goes under the strap, which helps it bend properly, which is lit. Here's just a normal AliExpress 212th clone with a GCC helmet. A simple trick that works every time. Then here is another trick that I did before. I got 2 more of those 13th Iron Battalion clones and gave them GCC helmets. Nice and simple. These are turning out to be one of my favorite clone designs of my entire army. Of course, I added 3 more 327th clones to my ranks. Same as in the army video, these guys have the AliExpress body, the Cape Cantina cloth, and Grandpa's Clone Custom helmets. A bit pricey when you think about it, but the effort is well worth it for the final product. I love having a bunch of these little detailed fellows. So these are 2 of my custom ARF troopers. On the right is the Lieutenant from the Clone Wars movie, that was debriefed by Anakin. I had no idea that Lieutenant even had a different helmet design. Someone on Instagram had to explain it to my dumbass. The guy on the left is Stack from the Ryloth arc, or at least it's supposed to be, because I goofed. I was foolish and I made an error. You see, I got here a regular clone body with a Clone Wars style ARF helmet because I thought those helmets had the 2 blue lines on them. Nope. In my ignorance, I realized all too late that it is still 4 lines, but now with a wonky looking visor. How shall I proceed with this? I might just get nail polish remover to remove 2 of the lines on the normal ARF trooper. But let's be honest, you don't care about that. What you do care about is the ARC Trooper from EA's Battlefront 2. AliExpress sells this guy as the Phase 2 version, but thanks to Clone Army Customs, I made this guy in the Phase 1 variant. I love the contrast between the hard plastic pauldron and the oh-so-soft camo. Then here I have Commander Ganch in both Phase 1 and 2 armors, a very obscure clone. Ganch was the commander to Bola Rapal, and is featured in the Clone Wars webcomics that are no longer canon. These 2 are as AliExpress sold them, except I got the pauldron strap thing from Clone Army Customs. I suppose if one were a perfectionist, they would say that the Phase 2 chest is incorrect because it should be identical to the Phase 1 version, but honestly, who's going to know? Except you guys now. This one is a very much needed addition. It's my Phase 1 Lieutenant. I used the body of a clone that you'll see later on, and topped it with a Clone Army Customs helmet from Clone Army Customs. I'm going to be critical of Clone Army custom helmets for a second, mostly the Phase 1 helmets. The helmets are too damn big. Like, same goes with Wolf from before. Like, the brother's got a bubblehead going on, dude. And now we have Comet. I got a new AliExpress body with a Clone Army Customs helmet, just like my Sinker and Boost. And now to complement Clone Army Customs, boy, their Phase 2 helmets never fail. And now they're releasing helmets in the new LEGO style. So it's like some of the GCC helmet designs, but double the price and half the shipping time. Waxer and Boyle return in their ARF armors. When that wave of ARF troopers came out, I noticed that the chest design of the Geonosis ARF trooper was inaccurate for the regular 212th clone. However, they would be perfect for Waxer and Boyle, and so I got their helmets from Clone Army Customs, and just like that, they were made. If you look at the sides, you can actually see the very fine detail of the Numa face on the visor. Speaking of the 212th, here are the stealth clones of that battalion. The body is from an older clone figure from AliExpress, and the helmets are from Grandpa's Clone Customs. After putting them together, I realized that the chest pieces aren't completely accurate because, on top of being scratched up and misprinted, there is no white markings where there should be. Oops. But hey, they still look cool, and their black armors help to make the other, more colorful armors stand out more. Okay, so this one is obscure as all hell, but hear me out. This is the heavy clone trooper that came with that Battle for Coruscant action figure battle pack in the mid-2000s. I was inspired to make this after watching a lot of JCC 2224, especially the video where he states that this is one of his favorite clone trooper action figures. And it is a good looking clone, nice blue highlights and all that stuff. So I got the AliExpress heavy clone trooper and switched out the chest for a plain white chest and legs, and got him a helmet and soft goods from Clone Army Customs. The original clone from AliExpress that I used was the same use for my lieutenant. The blue dots on the chest and striped arms helped out a lot with that. But this heavy clone was probably the figure I was looking forward to the most to make for this video. I was also looking forward to making these two clones here, Namek and Fireball from the Bad Batch Season 2. These were tricky, as these guys only appeared once and there was never a shot of their whole body in proper lighting, so this is the best I could do. Bodies of a Commander Gree and a 41st clone, Clone Army custom helmets, and Cape Cantina vests. You know, looking at Fireball, I'm thinking the arms are too brown, and I might need to get some green ones from somewhere. But that's okay, the whole thing is sort of like a work in progress anyway, right? And now for some familiar faces. I made additional versions of Fives and Commander Appo. Both of these clones I got their bodies from, you'll never believe it, AliExpress, the cloth from the Cape Cantina, and this time around, both their helmets come from Grandpa's Clone Customs. For Fives, I just wanted to make his Phase 1.5 helmet with the fin, but for Appo, well, there's a story with that. So, one night, a few months ago, we're at my friend's apartment, playing the Clone Wars board game made by Pandemic, and I'll be damned if one of the cards wasn't of Commander Appo, with this exact look. Arrowhead, and with the pauldron and camera decoration, everything. So there, it's lore accurate, and thus, it counts. Lastly, I have here a group of clones that were quite fun to make. You don't recognize them? Here, let's put them in a familiar pose. Yep, these are the clones that tried to kill Sui Choi in the Purge comics. God, I love making these. The Commander Devis looking ass guy was actually made very similarly to my actual Devis in my army video, but with one major difference. This time around, I got the strap from Clone Army Customs, and the strap is really the only thing that differentiates it from our favorite red 327th Commander. And now these Bark Troopers. So remember those 3 327th clones I showed you earlier? I actually bought 6 of those bodies because I used the other 3 here, and slapped on a yellow Bark helmet from Clone Army Customs. I remember growing up, I actually had the action figure that they made of this clone. Now, why did they make such an obscure clone? I don't know, but I have fond memories of it, so it was truly a pleasure to make these in LEGO form. And I believe that is actually a good way to end this video. So that covers all of the minifigures that I got in the mail within the past month or so. And yeah, that's a lot of guys. I counted it, and this whole operation added 116 clone troopers to my army of what was originally 262 clones. This brings the total army to 378, nearly 400 cheap-ass Chinese pieces of plastic with actual Lego sprinkled in the mess. Now, is this collection just a bit of harmless fun, or an affront to God and man? You make the call. But that is all I got, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fun ride, but now I gotta go. But as a bit of fun, I leave you with some silly pictures I took of the collection with the new figures. Alright, goodbye.